What if the burger you crave, the sandwich you pack, even the snacks your kids beg for, were never really food to begin with? In early 2025, newly released data from the FDA and the American Heart Association revealed a chilling surge. Diet-related illnesses in the United States have jumped by over 14% in just the past 12 months. Behind this rise? Additives and chemicals once labeled safe, now banned across Europe, Japan, and Canada, yet still quietly circulating through American grocery stores. And the catch? These foods aren't just unhealthy, they're engineered to keep you eating. From dough conditioners used in plastic manufacturing to ammonia-washed meats and artificial dyes made from petroleum, your kitchen may be stocked with products optimized for profit, not human health. In recent public forums and investor Q&As, Elon Musk summed it up bluntly, though many overlooked it, by warning, "Once you understand how these things are made, you won't want them anywhere near your plate." So why is America still the last stop for ingredients the world has already rejected? And how many of them are already sitting in your pantry right now? This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. Today we reveal 9 foods you'll never buy again once you know how they're made. Number 1. Donuts. You ever walk past a donut shop and feel like something's pulling you in by the nose? Not your feet, your nostrils. That warm, sugary breeze coming from behind the glass might as well be a siren song, luring folks in with promises of comfort and childhood joy. It's soft, it's golden, and it smiles at you with sprinkles. But here's the punchline. That pretty little pastry isn't just loaded with sugar and fat, it's loaded with consequences. Let's get one thing straight. This isn't just about calories or carbs. It's about how something so small and sweet has been carefully engineered to leave your health in a ditch. Donuts are typically fried in industrial oils. Oils that have been chemically processed, reused, and in many cases linked to trans fats. And yes, even the ones that say zero trans fat may still contain trace amounts. That's legal, by the way. The label lies politely, while the grease clings to your arteries like chewing gum on an old diner seat. And that's just the oil. Take a good look at the sugar next. A single donut can pack 25 to 30 grams of the stuff. Imagine spooning 6 heaping teaspoons of sugar straight into your mouth before noon, because that's what's happening. It spikes your blood sugar, gives you a rush like you just hit the jackpot, and then crashes you so hard your body feels like it ran through a brick wall. And the more this happens, the more your body forgets how to handle it. Weight gain, blood sugar swings, insulin resistance, they all quietly sneak in, disguised as just one treat. Worse yet, it doesn't stop there. Frostings, often dyed with petroleum-based colors, cream fillings, thickeners, emulsifiers, and flavor agents that sound more like hardware store items than food. The truth is, most donuts today are closer to processed product than baked good. They look like pastries, but act like traps, charming you with nostalgia and gutting you with every bite. But here's the hard part. It's not entirely your fault. These treats are built to be addictive. Their flavor, their smell, even the pastel boxes they come in, all designed to override common sense and push you toward that next bite. In a country where a box of donuts costs less than a bag of apples, who really had the upper hand? So maybe the next time that sweet smell wafts your way, you take a breath and keep walking. Reach for apple slices with cinnamon or toast with natural peanut butter. It's not flashy, sure, but your heart won't need to fight through grease and sugar to keep beating strong. Number 2. Preshredded cheese. That plastic bag of shredded cheese sliding into your cart might feel like a smart move. Easy, mess-free, and ready to sprinkle on everything from eggs to casseroles. But what if that little shortcut came with a side of splinters? Because buried between those tidy little strands isn't just cheese, it's wood. And no, that's not a joke. Let's talk about cellulose. Sounds sciencey and harmless, right? It's the anti-clump agent that keeps the cheese from turning into a soggy, sticky wad. But here's the kicker. Cellulose is often sourced from pulverized wood pulp. That's right, tree fiber. Something you'd expect in paper towels or insulation not nestled into your omelet. Food regulators say it's safe up to 4% per bag. But when did tree bark in moderation become a feature of your grocery list? And the question isn't just, is it safe? It's, is it even cheese anymore? Because once enough of that filler is added, the texture tells on itself. Real cheese melts into velvet. It stretches, bubbles, browns, makes you close your eyes and sigh a little. But cheese loaded with cellulose? It melts like plastic at a bonfire, dry, rubbery, and weirdly resistant. It's like watching a wax figure try to dance. And what about the trust we place in those labels? Castle Cheese Inc. sure thought we wouldn't notice. They got caught stuffing their Parmesan with cellulose and cheap cheddar scraps, a bait and switch that landed them in legal trouble. But here's the deeper concern. How many companies are quietly cutting corners while we keep assuming we're buying the real thing? When profit margins come before quality, the customer always ends up with the short end of the cheese stick. Sure, shredding your own cheese might take an extra 2 minutes, but isn't your dinner worth real flavor instead of artificial fluff? Grab a block, run it over a grater, and taste the difference that comes from skipping the shortcuts. Real cheese sings. When it melts, bagged shreds, they just sit there and mumble. Because if we've reached the point where the cheese aisle is selling us bits of wood, maybe it's time we stop mistaking convenience for food. Number 3. Chewing gum. You toss a stick of gum in your mouth without thinking, at the checkout line, after lunch, before a conversation. It's one of those habits that feels harmless, even helpful. Freshens your breath, keeps your jaw busy, gives your hands something to do. But what if that little chewable comfort came wrapped in more than just foil? What if every bite was packed with secrets that were never meant to be swallowed? Let's start with the one no one talks about, lanolin. Sounds scientific, maybe even fancy. But in plain English, it's grease. More specifically, waxy oil secreted from sheep's wool. That shiny coat that keeps rain off a sheep's back? You're chewing a processed version of it. And no, it's not listed front and center. It hides under the vague, unassuming name of gum base, where manufacturers legally don't have to spell it out. So while you're thinking mint and freshness, your mouth is working over a piece of disguised barnyard byproduct. Then there's sugar. If your gum has it, your teeth are under silent attack. Sugar latches onto enamel like a clingy X, feeding mouth bacteria that drill into your teeth, creating cavities while you smile. Skip brushing and it sticks around like an unwanted guest, slowly dismantling your dental health while you go about your day. But going sugar-free doesn't mean you're off the hook. Many gums use sweeteners like sorbitol and mannitol. Ever felt bloated or crampy after too much gum? That's your gut waving a white flag. These sugar alcohols may sound harmless, but chew long enough and you might find yourself racing for the bathroom. And then there's the jaw, an unsung casualty. Chewing constantly, especially on one side, can throw your facial muscles into chaos. Headaches, ear pain, or jaw tension that feels like you've been grinding gravel? That's not from stress. It might just be from gum. Now for the kicker, if you've got silver fillings, gum might be doing more than freshening your breath. Studies show that repetitive chewing can release trace amounts of mercury, and mercury doesn't just vanish, it builds. It's been linked to memory loss, nerve damage, and serious long-term health concerns. So that harmless minty chew, it might be slowly leaking metal into your bloodstream. This isn't to say you need to swear off gum for life, but maybe it's time to ditch the mystery mix and reach for sugar-free, xylitol-based options in moderation. Because if even chewing gum, something you pop in without a second thought, can carry this much baggage, what else in your routine might be worth a second glance? Number 4, instant noodles. It's late, you're tired, maybe your wallet feels thin and your fridge even thinner, so you reach for that. Familiar package, bright, crinkly, promising warmth in minutes. Just boil water, drop in the brick, pour the packet, and boom, dinner. It feels like magic in a bowl. But behind that comforting slurp is a storm waiting to happen, and it's not the kind that passes. It's the kind that builds. Let's talk sodium, because that seasoning packet isn't just flavor, it's an ambush. One serving of instant noodles can pack in around 1,500 milligrams of salt. That's nearly 3/4 of what your body is supposed to handle for an entire day. And let's be real, no one eats just half a package. You're looking at one whole bowl delivering a flood of salt that makes your body cling to water like a sponge, bloats your belly, spikes your blood pressure, and turns your heart into an overworked pump. Eat that a few times a week, and you've got a highway straight to heart disease, stroke, and kidney trouble knocking quietly at your door. Then there's the seasoning packet itself. It smells like heaven, but it's more science lab than soup. Monosodium glutamate, better known as MSG, is often the star of that flavor explosion. Sure, not everyone reacts the same, but for plenty of folks it brings headaches, dizziness, or that strange flush that makes your skin tingle. Toss in other artificial additives, preservatives, and colorings, and what you're eating isn't a meal. It's a chemistry set. Now let's not forget the noodles. They're not just dried, they're usually flash fried in palm oil to give them that months-long shelf life. That convenience comes with a side of trans fats, the kind that clogs your arteries like grease in an old diner sink. Bite by bite, they drive up bad cholesterol, increase belly fat, and weigh heavy on your heart. Over time, that quick fix becomes a slow sabotage. But here's the part that stings. These noodles are designed to be addictive. The salt, the fat, the artificial umami, they've been fine-tuned to hit your brain like a reward. Cheap and tasty, yes, but addictive in the same way slot machines are. You think you're choosing it, but really it's choosing you. You don't have to ditch noodles forever. Swap in fresh rice noodles or soba, simmer them in low-sodium broth, toss in some frozen veggies or an egg. You still get the comfort, the warmth, the slurp, the satisfaction, but without all the hidden sabotage. Because if a 5-minute dinner can quietly push you toward long-term illness, maybe it's time we stop calling it food and start calling it what it is, a warning in disguise. Number 5, burgers. They're sizzling on backyard grills, stacked high in diners and handed through drive-thru windows faster than you can say extra ketchup. Burgers aren't just food, they're a piece of American culture, a symbol of summer, simplicity, and satisfaction. But here's the bite that no one wants to swallow. What if this beloved icon of comfort isn't as wholesome as it looks? What if every juicy mouthful is carrying a hidden cost, one that shows up not on the receipt, but on your next blood test? Let's start with the fat. Not the marbled, juicy kind chefs rave about, but the dangerous kind that moves in and never leaves. Saturated fat in many burgers is sky high, sneaking into your bloodstream and setting up shop in your arteries like an uninvited relative who refuses to move out. Over time, that buildup forces your heart to work harder, like pushing a grocery cart with locked wheels, every beat a struggle. Then comes the salt. Fast food burgers are sodium bombs in disguise. One sandwich can deliver more salt than your body needs in an entire day, quietly driving up your blood pressure while your taste buds cheer. But if only it stopped at fat and salt. Many of these patties are Frankenstein creations, stitched together from scraps and treated with preservatives, artificial flavors, and even ammonia. Yes, that ammonia, the stuff under your sink, used to sterilize what's known in the industry as pink slime. And while regulators insist it's safe, let's ask the obvious. Since when did beef need to be sanitized with a cleaning chemical to be called food? Then there's the size of it all. A burger used to be a modest meal. Now, it's a tower of calories, cheese, bacon, sauces dripping down the sides. More of a dare than a dinner. Add fries and a soda, and you've got yourself a 4-digit calorie count masquerading as lunch. It's not just about what you eat, it's how much, and how fast, and how often. But here's the thing, you don't have to break up with burgers, just rethink the relationship. Grill your own with lean grass-fed beef or turkey. Top it with veggies that crunch, not sauces that ooze. Skip the soda, pour a glass of water, and you've still got a burger, just without the hidden sabotage. Because if a burger, America's sweetheart of fast food, can carry this much danger behind that sesame seed bun, maybe the question isn't should I stop eating this? But what else have I been trusting without looking twice? Number 6, soda. Pop the tab. Hear that cheerful fizz, and just like that, you're transported. It's crisp, cold, familiar, a little escape at the end of a long day. That sweet, sparkling sip feels like a tiny celebration in a can. But what if that celebration comes with a cost your body keeps paying long after the last gulp? Because let's be real, behind the glossy label and clever commercials, soda isn't a treat. It's a sugar-soaked trap in disguise, and it's got more tricks up its sleeve than your sweet tooth bargained for. Let's start with the headliner, sugar. A single can can dump 7 to 10 teaspoons straight into your system. That's not a treat. That's more like stirring half a bag of sugar into a glass of tap water and calling it a beverage. Your body's blood sugar doesn't rise. It launches into orbit. And over time, that roller coaster ride comes with a heavy ticket. Weight gain, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and a heart that's working overtime. It's not just theory. Study after study links regular soda drinking to a sharp spike in diabetes risk, and the damage doesn't stop there. Sugar sets the stage for inflammation, arterial plaque, and the kind of chronic fatigue that makes getting off the couch feel like running a marathon. Now here's where it gets sneakier. Soda doesn't satisfy hunger. It dodges it. You can drink an entire can, guzzle down over 100 empty calories, and still feel like you haven't eaten a thing. Even worse, it rewires your cravings. That sweetness flips a switch in your brain, making you chase more. More sweets, more carbs, more junk. It's not just harmless refreshment. It's a feedback loop engineered to make you hungrier, not happier. And your teeth? Well, soda doesn't just flirt with your enamel, it demolishes it. The sugar feeds bacteria, which produce acid, which goes to town on your enamel like it's stripping rust off old metal. Ever seen soda clean corrosion off a car battery? Now picture that same acid slowly eating away at your teeth. Cavities, gum disease, sensitivity. It's not just cosmetic, it's painful, pricey, and preventable. The good news? You don't have to swear off refreshing drinks entirely. Ice water with lemon, sparkling water with fruit, or unsweetened tea can still bring that satisfying sip without the metabolic sabotage. But if a single can of soda, something we're taught to see as casual, even fun, can carry this much hidden harm, it makes you wonder, what else in the grocery store is wearing a smile while hiding a blade? Number 7. Potato chips. That first crunch of a potato chip, loud, salty, perfectly crisp, has a way of hitting just right. Whether you're curled up during a game, watching reruns on Sunday, or just stress snacking after a long shift, chips always seem to show up like a reliable old buddy. But here's the hard truth. Behind that comforting crunch is a pile of chemicals you wouldn't dare sprinkle on your dinner plate. If we're honest, that shiny little bag is more science project than snack, and the ingredients hiding inside should make anyone stop and ask, what exactly am I feeding my body? Let's kick things off with acrylamide. Ever heard of it? Probably not, because no one advertises it on the bag. It's a chemical that forms when starchy foods like potatoes are fried at high heat. Not sautéed, not baked. Fried. Studies have linked it to cancer in lab animals, and potato chips rank among the worst offenders. Imagine that. The same mouthful that tastes like childhood comfort is laced with a compound you wouldn't touch if it came in a bottle with a warning label. But seal it in foil with a cartoon potato, and suddenly it's fine. That's marketing for you. Lipstick on a toxin. Then there's sodium. Bisulfite, a preservative used to keep chips looking golden and fresh. Sounds fancy, but here's the twist. The same chemical is also used in certain toilet bowl cleaners. That's not metaphor, it's a cross-industry ingredient. And when it reacts with vitamin B12, which, surprise, shows up naturally in some potatoes, it can create toxic byproducts right in your gut. So while your mouth is enjoying the salt and crunch, your insides might be getting hit with a chemical combo nobody warned you about. And we haven't even touched the artificial flavors and colors yet, the little extras that make sour cream and onion taste like a carnival. Many of those additives are derived from petroleum. Yep, the same stuff fueling your car. Over time, these synthetic flavor enhancers have been linked to gut issues, inflammation, and even heart problems. But we don't think about any of that mid-binge, because the flavor hits fast and the consequences hit slow. But here's what's truly ironic. Real potatoes don't need any of this. You can slice them thin, bake them in your own oven with a little olive oil and salt, and still get that satisfying, guilt-free crunch. And if potato chips, arguably the simplest snack around, can carry this much chemical chaos, just imagine what's riding shotgun in your other snacks. So next time you hear that satisfying crunch, maybe take a second to think about what else just cracked with it. Because your body isn't fooled by shiny bags or clever slogans. It knows exactly what it's digesting, whether you want to or not. Number 8. Store-bought bread. It's sitting right there on your counter. Soft, golden, dependable. You toast it, sandwich it, maybe grill it with a slice of cheese when dinner feels like too much effort. Bread feels harmless, even comforting. It's not flashy, it doesn't shout. It just is. But what if the quietest food in your kitchen turned out to be one of the sneakiest? Because that loaf? It's less daily staple and more like a chemical sleeper agent wrapped in plastic. If you've ever wondered why a supermarket loaf stays soft for weeks, it's not because of magic, it's because of manufacturing. Start with potassium bromate. Most people have never heard of it, and that's exactly the point. It makes dough rise and gives bread that cloud-like texture we're all used to. The problem? It's been linked to cancer in multiple animal studies. That's why it's banned in Europe, banned in China, banned in Canada, but here in the US, still sitting pretty on store shelves. How does a known carcinogen get a free pass in something we eat for breakfast? Then there's calcium propionate, birth to our feed. pioturthique, the mold-fighting preservative. It keeps your loaf looking fresh for weeks. But at what cost? Some studies have linked it to behavioral issues and hyperactivity in children. That's not exactly what you signed up for when you grabbed a sandwich loaf off the shelf. And we're not done yet. Enter azotocarbonamide. If that name sounds familiar, it's because it's also used to make yoga mats and foam flip-flops. Yes, the same chemical you step on at the gym could be what's cushioning your ham and cheese. Think that's the worst of it? Let's talk sugar. While bread needs a little to feed the yeast, many brands pile on high fructose corn syrup or genetically modified sugars just to tweak the flavor. Even worse, some light breads sneak in artificial sweeteners like sucralose, the same stuff used in diet sodas, just to hit that low-calorie target. And the golden crust? It might owe its color to ammonia-based processes, the same kind of ammonia you find under your kitchen sink. That perfect hue isn't baked with love. It's chemically enhanced and quietly controversial. Still hungry? Let's not forget those artificial flavors and colors, often petroleum-derived, the same source used for gasoline. These additives have been linked to asthma, allergic reactions, and hyperactivity, yet they quietly linger in what's marketed as the most basic, wholesome food. The truth is, bread shouldn't come with a chemistry lesson. Real bread is simple. Flour, water, salt, yeast. It should go stale after a couple days, not sit fresh-looking on the counter like a wax model. Try a local bakery, or better yet, bake a loaf yourself. You'll smell the difference. You'll feel the difference. And you won't have to worry about whether your sandwich came with a side of plastic. Because if even bread, the most ordinary food on your plate, is this loaded, you've got to ask, what else in your pantry is dressed up to look safe while quietly doing damage? Number 9. Hot dogs. Just hearing the word hot dog might bring back the sound of backyard laughter, the pop of a summer grill, or the buzz of a baseball stadium under bright lights. They're quick, cheap, nostalgic, and wrapped in American tradition tighter than the bun that holds them. But take a second, really stop and ask yourself, if you knew what was actually ground up inside that iconic snack, would you still smile when it hits your plate? Because under the mustard and relish is something far messier than ketchup stains on a white t-shirt. Let's start with the cold, hard truth. Hot dogs are processed meat and not the harmless kind. The World Health Organization ranks them in the same cancer-causing category as smoking. That's not an exaggeration. Just one hot dog a day raises your risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. And for kids, the danger hits even harder. Research has found that children who regularly eat hot dogs are at a higher risk of developing brain tumors and leukemia. Imagine serving up a hot dog at a family cookout, not realizing it's closer to handing out cigarettes than it is to serving supper. But the story doesn't end with cancer. These little links are packed with sodium and saturated fat, two ingredients that do. A number on your heart, high blood pressure, clogged arteries, increased risk of stroke. Every bite chips away at your cardiovascular health like rust under the hood of an old truck. And those nitrates and nitrites used to preserve color and flavor, they've been shown to damage insulin-producing cells in your pancreas, quietly raising your risk of type 2 diabetes while you chew. And for anyone thinking, well, at least they're safe to eat, think again. Over the years, hot dogs have been recalled for everything from plastic fragments and metal shards to bacterial contamination, including listeria, which can be fatal. And yes, there have even been horrifying reports of hair, buttons, and razor blades found inside some batches. That's not dinner, it's a lottery ticket from hell. What's worse is how we dress them up. White buns with zero nutrition, sugary ketchup, greasy chips, and a cold soda to wash it all down. It's a full-course meal for disease, disguised as tradition. But here's the good news. The cookout doesn't have to die. Grilled chicken, veggie sausages made from real ingredients, even a lean turkey dog. There are better ways to keep the sizzle without serving your family a chemical cocktail on a bun. Because if even hot dogs, one of the most familiar foods in the American kitchen, can carry risks this staggering, it's time to stop asking, what's for dinner? And start asking, what's really in it? If these everyday foods carry dangers this deep, imagine what else we're eating without question. Your plate holds more power than you think. It's time to read labels, ask questions, and demand better. Don't stay in the dark. Subscribe now for more eye-opening truths that could change how you eat, and maybe even how long you live.
Thank you for watching today's video all the way through. If you found the content helpful, don't forget to click like and subscribe to stay updated to our latest daily videos. Now feel free to check out other featured videos currently shown on your screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next video.